So you mentioned your day job there. How do you sort of balance the two? Because you have a game every Saturday, more or less. Tuesday, game or training.
Yeah.
Thursday, training, and then Saturday again. It must be some long old days there.
Yeah, it's a few busy days. So for my day job, I'm a window fitter, so double glazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, normally leave the house about 7:30 in the morning. Get up with the little man. He could be up any time between 5:30 and 7. Like this morning, he was up at 10 to 6. So I'm up with him, watch a bit of CBeebies, and then go off to work about 7:30, and then I can get home sort of any time between 4 and 6. Sometimes later, it depends how the day goes, sort of thing. Yeah. And then like you said, Tuesday, Thursdays, I can sometimes be changed and out the door straight to training. And then, getting back at 9:30, 10 o'clock on, and then just straight back to work the next day. And then, you have the Tuesday away games and stuff, which obviously you don't tend to get back to. Like, I think we got Hungerford next week. Won't be back till midnight, gone 1. And then the same, I'll be up for work the next day. And those weeks do feel long because you do feel you just can't catch up. Because your adrenaline's still going when you get in. You sometimes can't get to sleep till 1, 2 o'clock, and then your baby boy alarm's going off at 6, and you can't ignore it. You can't put it on snooze. So that's part of it. It's the nature of the beast. But some days are longer than others. But try and chill out as much as I can and spend some time with the family on the Sundays and stuff, and sort of recover.
1 day a week, really, isn't there?
Yeah, 1 day a week with my little boy and my wife, and then back to it on the Monday morning.
Can you separate it pretty well? Are your windows fitted better after a good win?
Everything feels better after a good win. But no, it's for Saturday, for example. Obviously, the mood on the coach was a little bit different to the week before. Sure. But you get home by the time you've had your dinner and you've gone to bed on Sundays. It's sort of not forgotten because nobody likes to lose. Well, I hate it, but it can affect your mood slightly. But I try not to let it bother my home life. I can. Yeah. I think that comes with age as well. I think when you're younger, it's more than it's all you think about. It's your life sort of thing. But as you get older and naturally have other commitments like children and a full-time career, you have natural distractions anyway. So you sort of focus more on those than football, because after Saturday you can't do anything about it. So there's not much point in moping over it for 3-4 days.
You can separate it pretty easily and just get on with home life. Home life and dad mode. As soon as I get home and see my little boy, it's all forgotten. It's easier for me when I see him. He's the most important thing in the room. So football's a long thought away. It sounds very healthy, if that's a weird way of putting it. So that's like you can sort of separate it nicely and have a good time.
Yeah, definitely. I think, my partner, she comes to watch it every now and again, but she's not football crazy, so we can have different conversations. And she asks, "How was the game?" "Yeah, not good." "Yeah, well, I won't talk about that for the rest of the night," sort of thing. She won't go, "Oh, how long did you play? She won't ask the nitty gritty, so I don't really have to go back through it all. I can distance it quite well.
How do you sort of cope in the off season? Because obviously you're not running around so much. You must have to try and keep fit, and obviously there's a bit less to do, I guess, or a lot less to do.
Yeah, it works both ways. So obviously when you're not at football, it's like less family time, holidays. Yeah. Like you work that 10 months, so that 2 months off is nice and sweet. So try and enjoy my weekends as much as I can, spend as much time with my family as possible. And just rest, recover, and keep ticking over. And then sort of, you've only got 8-10 weeks, and then it all starts again.
It's not that long, is it? Do you give yourself 2 weeks to just, couch potato mode, or do you try and keep on?
I think it was. Well, I think obviously last season, losing in the playoffs was on the Wednesday. I think I had to the weekend, and then gave myself another week, so it was sort of 10 days, just nothing. But obviously I felt like I had a bit of a point to prove after an up and down season last year. So this off season was probably the hardest I've worked in the last 8 years,
because I felt like I had a point to prove, and took myself away and got myself into a really good fitness wise, and kept playing five-a-side probably too much that it annoyed my partner. But just trying to keep sharp and keep fit and just keep ticking over. But it was. I definitely felt like I had to come back better than last year.
So you do it all yourself. You don't get a trainer in. You're just five-a-side and.
Yeah, I just literally was a five-a-side every other day, I think. And then,
oh, really?
I just jumped onto a couple of friends who play in five-a-side leagues, and they were pleased to have me on board for a couple of weeks. But just try and enjoy it, and then a few long yards on just running down the beach and running around the roads and stuff. Just get that fitness up, but. Yeah, a little bit of gym work, but I've never been too keen on the muscles and the big muscles and stuff like that. Doesn't really suit me, so I'm more of a runner, so I just like to run.
Get on it. Nice, very nice, very nice. So that's good. That's some good info. Thank you very much. I've got a load of questions now, some sort of quick fire questions.
Yeah.
Some of which have come from supporters, some of which I've sort of put in myself.
Yeah, of course.
So I'll just get going with those. So who's your best mate at the club?
Probably Big Nose Tone.
Big Nose Tone. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You're not on the Facebook forum, I don't think, are you? On the.
No, I deleted Facebook the other week because I
just
can't be bothered with
enough.
it.
He actually
not because of the forum. I've never even been on it, but I just end up scrolling it for no reason. So I was like, well, what's the point? I do
the same. I sort of delete it and then come back when I.
I don't think I've put anything on Facebook for about 6 years, so it was like, why am I looking at this for half an hour a day?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Time.
But Tony actually mentioned something about he wanted to know who had the biggest nose at the club.
Of course he did. Everyone used to wind him up about it, but then at the Tottenham game, me and him played up front, and then they seemed to be shouting at us and comparing our nose sizes during the game, and started chanting that my nose was offside. So I think Tony sort of latched onto that it's not his nose that's always taken the nick out of, so he sort of jumped on it. But luckily, until this goes out, everyone else has kept quiet on it, but now I think a few more of the lads might jump on it.
Well, he did say he'd give the supporters club £10 if I got that question in, so.
Make sure you get that tenner.
I will. I'll be after him. Which football team do you support?
Arsenal.
Oh, that's a good one for this season.
My uncle supported Arsenal, and he took me to my first football game, Southampton against Fulham, many moons ago. But he liked Arsenal, so I liked Arsenal, and he got me a kit and a photo of Highbury and stuff. So then just sort of steamrolled from there, really.
Very nice. I support Arsenal this season because I support anyone who's likely to beat City. So
I think a lot of people are in that team.
Yeah. Do you have any pre-match rituals?
Nothing really. Normally Saturdays, beans on toast.
I've got a question from Dan Short, who you know very well. Your favourite goal you've scored for Paul?
So I'd say the hat-trick versus Wimborne last year in the Dorset Cup.
Oh yeah, nice.
Nothing. Obviously, I had a really good time at Wimborne, but it always gives you that little edge playing against your old team. Yeah. And then we obviously scored. I scored a hat trick, and then we won on penalties. So it was a good night for the supporters. So I'll have to say that because I'll get them on side.
It's a question from George Fullerton. Who was your favourite footballer growing up, or your footballing icon growing up?
Thierry Henry.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Obviously, being an Arsenal fan and seeing him in his prime was obviously I'd never go as far to compare myself to him because he's in one of the best strikers that's ever played the game. But he's quick, he was fast, he liked the one-on-ones, and it was someone that I sort of looked up to massively, and not necessarily based my game on, but I think just naturally through my physique and the way that I did things on the pitch, he was definitely one I watched, sort of how he finished and having that extra bit of coolness when you're one-on-one to sort of make your mind up sort of thing, rather than wait for the keeper to move and stuff like that. So it was definitely him. This
isn't on the list, but it should be a nice easy one. VAR, yes or no?
No.
Okay.
Worst thing in the game.
Do you hate it?
Yeah, it's put me off watching sort of Premier League games now.
Really?
I'm just really not that interested. Yeah, it's if it was done right, I think it would work. But they just don't have a clue. And then
No.
the refs get enough stick as it is, and this is just making it worse.
Fair enough. Got a couple of non-football ones now. One from Dan Wilson. If you could choose a lineup for a music festival, who would your top 5 artists be to play at it?
Yeah, I had to have a think about this, but I'll go with Arctic Monkeys, Oasis, Johnny Cash, Eminem, and Ed Sheeran. Bit of a mixed bag there, but yeah, that's
so
you'd have
you've got to have a bit of hip hop in there to break it up a bit with Eminem.
Yeah, I've been to 2 concerts in my life,
really?
which won't impress Dan because he likes to go to them every week.
He does, yeah.
But I've been to Arctic Monkeys, and then when I was a lot younger, I went to watch 50 Cent. God knows why. I think we went as a group of mates from school. He was at the Bic. But yeah, I liked sort of Eminem and that sort of music when I was a lot younger. But yeah, more Arctic Monkeys and Oasis. But yeah, my partner's grandma used to love Johnny Cash, and we listened to it in the car and stuff. So got to chuck him in there as well. Yeah,
lovely. Favourite film or TV series?
So like Saving Private Ryan, Hacksaw Ridge, films like that. I really, as a film person, I tend to like war films. I'm not sure why. And then series, probably like Ozark, Breaking Bad.
Dark
those
stuff.
ones.
Nothing cheerful. You don't watch anything cheerful.
Well, I watch CBeebies, so that gives me my little pick me up in the morning. And then in the evenings when he's gone to bed, we can watch some more crime thrillers and stuff like that.
That's what we do. We have like 2 hours of Paw Patrol and then some Scandinavian murder.
I think a lot of people are similar. So yeah, definitely one of those households.
What's your favourite food? Was it beans on toast? Is that going to be it?
Nah, that's just on a Saturday morning. Steak. I like steak, red meats. Mrs. homemade lasagna is pretty good. I've got to give her a vouch for that. But yeah, just home cooked food really.
Oh, one last question. Well, maybe it's a bit of a miserable one for the last question, but what's your toughest moment in football?
Well, probably playoffs, both for Wimborne and Poole. So obviously when I was at Wimborne, we lost in the playoff final to Swindon Supermarine on penalties. But the night before I'd had food poisoning. Oh, no. So I'd had about 2 hours sleep, and I think it was about 38 degrees in the middle of May. And then, I was just beyond exhausted, got to the penalties and then lost. And then fortunately we went up about a week later, but the feeling on the pitch was horrible. I was on my knees in tears and but I think that was more from exhaustion, and emotion, because it was a long season. But and then obviously last year with Poole, you work all season and then it comes down to a penalty shootout. It's never a nice feeling. Obviously you'd rather sort of someone score a worldie from 35 yards and hold your hands up and be like, you can't do anything about that, rather than going all the way to penalties and being the side to lose it. It was not a nice feeling, so I'd probably say both of those.
Thank you very much. So Tiverton are next. They're normally up there in the table. They're a little bit lower down this season than I can remember when I last looked anyway. What are you expecting from them?
But it's going to be a tough one. Like I said, if a team turns up on a day, they can beat anybody. So we've just got to make sure that we turn up and put in a better performance than we did on Saturday. Hopefully get a reaction. Obviously, I think their manager's just left. They've got a caretaker manager in charge. So, but then they had a good result at the weekend. So it swings and roundabouts at this league. Travelling to us on a Tuesday night's going to come in our favour maybe. But literally, it means nothing when the game starts. If we're at it, we could beat anybody, but same goes for them. So it's a bit of a hard one to predict, because, like we said before, if you can if you turn up, you could beat anybody. So we just got to make sure we're the ones that are turning up tomorrow.
All right, brilliant. Cool. All the best for tomorrow then. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John, and I hope I haven't waffled on too much.